and open up the meeting of the Palmer Valley Healthcare District. The regular meeting for Wednesday, May 26th, or May 27th, 2026. Rosie, whenever you have the opportunity, this goes a roll call.
Yes. Director Bali? Here. Director Frio? Here. Director Gallagher?
Here.
Director Pimentel?
Here.
And Chair Nugent?
Here. We have nothing to report out of closed session. I believe the closed session was for the hospital board at the previous meeting. Do we have any agenda modifications for consideration? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring us on to public comment on matters not on tonight's agenda. I'll start online first. Anyone online wishing to speak on items not on tonight's healthcare district agenda? Okay, seeing no raised hands, I'll go out in person. Anyone in person? Okay, I'll close down the public comment and I'll open up to comments from our board members. Any comments? Okay, I'll close down the public comment or comment from our board members. And I'll bring it into the consent calendar for items 1 through 4. Do we have any questions for staff on either of these items? Before I open up for public comment. Okay, seeing no questions, I'll open up the public comment on the consent calendar. Anyone online wishing to speak on one of these 4 items? Seeing no raised hands, anyone in person? Okay, I'll close down the public comment and I'll entertain an appropriate motion on items number 1 through 4.
To pass these items.
Can I get a second?
A second.
Thank you.
Thank you, Directors Friel and Bali. I'll take the roll on this item. Director Bali? Yes. Director Friel? Yes. Director Gallagher?
Yes.
Director Pimentel?
Yes.
And Chair Nugent?
Yes. Okay, that brings us to the final item of our board meeting tonight. That is an update of the Palmer Valley Healthcare District saying an external partnerships update. So the contact here is CEO Stephen Gray. Steve, maybe if you want to tee it up and Alex and I can add some color to it.
Yeah, sure. So I think that this is a ongoing report back from our ad hoc committee about our strategic priority to continue to seek an external partner for moving forward into the new world of healthcare as it has been set up by federal government in particular, and knowing that when the HR1 passed, this board got together in special session and talked about what that was going to look like and what that was going to look like financially for this hospital, with up to 27% of people in our community eventually losing their Medi-Cal coverage, or people losing commercial insurance due to Covered California rebates going away, all those sorts of things. And so the financial impacts on our hospital, knowing that it's going to be very, very difficult to move forward as an independent standalone hospital and district into that world, and that many hospitals and districts like ours are partnering with other larger organizations to be able to weather those storms. So the ad hoc committee has been meeting, and it's listed on the board report. It's a lot of times. And so I really appreciate the dedication and the input that we've gotten from our board members, and I'll let the two of you give the update on kind of where we're at, what's next, and I can add any commentary if it's helpful.
Okay. Yeah, I can add that as CEO Grace said, we've met many times. I don't know off the top of my head. I guess I could just count them if I wanted to out loud. But we met at least weekly, dating all the way back to when the ad hoc committee was established back in August, if I remember correctly. And so since then we've met weekly, sometimes meeting twice or thrice weekly as well, to explore different ad hoc, different external partnerships with local healthcare providers that met the guiding principles that was set in place by the full board at a meeting in Q3 of 2025. And the update that we have for this board is, I know that at the previous meeting in April, I said in my board member comments that we would hopefully be bringing something before the board for a review or for potential approval of a potential external partnership agreement. And that a potential agreement that we had with one of our partners that we've been speaking to did not move forward in the way that we had hoped. And so that's the update that we have tonight in terms of following through on the comments that I made in my board member comments in April. What I can also share is that we have continued to look for partners aside from or after and during that initial engagement. And we continue to look at partners and have a meeting set up in the upcoming weeks with potential partners as well to continue to look for partnerships that align with our board's directive goals of looking for partners that align with the guiding principles that we approved a few months ago. I'll just say that, with the potential partnership falling through at this time, especially with the cash crunch that we're in right now, I'll reiterate that the work of the care committee over the last 2 months has been extremely valuable and needed. And so just again, thank you to the care committee for continuing to look at what we can do and what we are doing internally as the ad hoc committee for external partnerships looks at what we can do externally. And so, like I said in the previous item, we're really trying at all different avenues to identify not only short-term paths, but also our long-term future for the hospital at this moment. And I'll just close by saying this, that we're going to continue to look at the operational efficiencies within the hospital. And I know that Director Friel and I have a few emails to send out in the coming days and a few phone calls and stuff like that to do as it relates to the ad hoc committee. So we continue to look at potential partnerships that are going to, like I said, not only solve some of the short-term challenges that we see in the next few months and the next 6 months, but also what gives this hospital its best long-term opportunity to become the healthcare provider that we all know that this hospital needs to be for our community and for the entire Central Coast. So not the presentation that I wanted to give today, but still one that I wanted to make sure that the board had before them opportunity to ask questions, and then also just to give you a reassurance that the ad hoc committee continues to work extremely hard to find a partnership that aligns with all the guiding principles that we've approved. So, Alex, anything you wanted, Director Friel, anything you wanted to add?
I think you summed it up perfectly. Our work is not done, and we're continuing, and we've been continuing to look at all avenues.
Any questions from the rest of the board?
Comments, but that's all.
Okay. Comments on that?
Sure. I know it's the collect. Well, we may be in the near future forced into a go it alone kind of scenario. And I would like to lift our chins to the possibility that we actually can do that. I know it's the collective wisdom that it looks like it makes a lot more sense that we become part of a large company, but the experience in the past was not that. A sale, which is what went on then, is not a partnership, but there is significant overlap. All of the reasons we sold could be summarized to say we wanted to join or be owned by a large company who knew what they were doing. And what they were doing was not what we wanted them to do, but they really did know what they were doing. And that was to transform us into an organization that maximized their income. Along with that, the management that they provided was, the other things under that heading are, we thought we'd get economies of scale, expertise, additional resources, and access to capital. Of that list, access to capital is about really the only one that they did, but we paid market rate interest for that capital. To give you an idea, at the year-end financials that sticks in my mind, I don't recall what year, we paid $5.4 million in interest to the parent corporation for new equipment that was sent to us. So I think the idea that there is a large company that is going to be able to do that, in my experience, was a mirage. Their management was far inferior to what John Friel and Donna Ramos did when they ran this hospital. To give you an example, and I won't bore you with a lot of examples, they came here in early September of 1998. The first weekend holiday was Labor Day. An experienced ER nurse turned to her new manager and said, how many nurses do you have on call for the holiday weekend? She got a blank stare. And the response was, wow, that's a really good idea. That sort of characterizes a lot of what happened over the next 20 years. Their experts and consultants were very expensive and were inferior to the people that we had been dealing with. There are examples where they bought expensive inferior monitors to the one that was found by one of the biomed techs. They changed out a dialysis provider that was completely responsive and good for a preferred provider that was one of their preferred providers. They sent a medical staff guru who reconfigured how the quality process went, and they consolidated into a medical quality and surgical quality review rather than having those things go on in the departments. And that was really the reason physicians came to those meetings. And so physicians started just not coming to those meetings. It really took out the reason for it increased the amount of apathy. They also sort of massively drove the community away by not thinking that it was important. So what they did to be profitable is that they cut services, they cut benefits, and they raised prices. That's how they did it. So for us, it's been mentioned earlier that there was a secret sauce here, and I think what it is people treat each other like human beings. People who come here to get medical care are treated like people with a medical problem. Great, much better care along those lines is given than neighboring hospitals that I'm aware of. So I think we have opportunities here that can make this possible with a 38% market share, OR capacity, the ability to do basic medical care, a cath lab. We need to be a better hospital to do that. We need to solve operational issues. We need to support staff and physicians, and we need to reconnect with the hospital, with the community. So I think if it comes that we end up needing to do it alone, we're really quite capable of doing that. That's my spiel.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other comments? No. Yeah, I'll just, I'll add on to that, I think that we're going to continue as an ad hoc committee to look at potential partnerships, whether they be large at scale or much smaller. I think the direction that we got from the board and as we're looking at the potential impacts of HR1 to the hospital, to healthcare in general, not just us, but other healthcare providers in our region. What we're seeing is not an expansion, especially in California. What we're seeing is a shrinking of services, and that's the real thing that we need to be cognizant of and start to plan for. And so again, I'll go back to the comments that we of the previous meeting and the care ad hoc committee. I think as we've been looking at potential partners and what we're looking for in a partner and what they could bring to us, not just what we offer to them, is the opportunity for us to improve services and to grow services for our community and for our patients and for the people who rely on us. So ditto, Dr. Gallagher, that Director Gallagher, we could be looking at a potential future where we're going to have to cut it on our own. And that is, was something that we knew was going to be very difficult from the very beginning when this district was established in 2022. And that was under times where we thought our QAP payment was going to continue to grow every single year. And the state of California was going to be very generous every single year. And our immigrant community that depends on this hospital is not going to be running for the hills every quarter, in a surprise, in a potential immigration enforcement happening from the federal government. And these are challenges that we have to react to and that we have to continue to plan for. And like I said before, I think there's a potential windfall that we have here in the next 4 to 6 months, and things have to break really right for us. And we have to plan for the potential that things don't break right for us, because I still remember, when we were putting together our budget towards the end of Q3 in 2024, and I was telling Julie, 25 is gonna be our year. And then the cyber attack hit, and then November hit, everything that happened with the presidential election. And then the first quarter of 2025 hit, and things were breaking down across the hospital. The equipment that was here, again, before I was born, right, or right around the time that I was born, started breaking down. The things that we knew that we needed to improve in order for this hospital to grow our way out of our infancy that we were in 2022. So we'll continue to look for partnerships, Director Gallagher, and we'll continue to look at them through the same lens that you talked about, where we would love to remain an independent healthcare provider if we can, and led by the community in the way that this was envisioned. And if there is a potential partnership that could happen with a large healthcare provider, that makes sense. We owe it to our community, and it's our fiduciary responsibility as board members to look into every single nook and cranny. So with that, if there's no other comments, I'll adjourn this, please.
Just reciprocate appreciation. Your frequency and length of the ad hoc has been a lot, and it's seen and well, and going back to understanding the cascading impacts on staff and all the work that's been involved there in the analysis. It's coming from a place of deep gratitude and appreciation to everybody involved in this committee. To the conversation we were just having, from a place of perspective, knowing that we qualify for the current state's distress hospital program because of our ridiculously low cash balance. To remain as an independent hospital, we'd have to start thinking about having a $50 million order of magnitude reserve on top of operating cash to be sustainable. And so to the point of, if Quad 9 and Quad 10, and if the rural transformation HR1 fund, and if the new distress hospital, those are just probably that best get us halfway to a reserve level that we need to remain as an independent hospital. We've got a lot of things to build up. We can't allow ourselves to get back in moments where one hit knocks us into the spiral. Now we've got but many big hits, not just one. But it's just a point of reminder, there's a lot of work to be done, even if these cash support does come through. It's going to be probably half of what we really need.
Okay, any other comments? Or we adjourn here, and then we're going to recess back into closed session for the final 2 items of our closed session agenda. Okay, and we will order